Okay.
Hey, welcome to the show. It's me, Antoine, with Alex. What are we
Hello.
gonna do? We're gonna talk about art, because this is the show. The show is called Playing the Artist.
Yeah, it
I
is.
just made that up.
Get out of
Thanks. Yeah, off top of my dome. Thanks for joining us. Another episode of Playing the Artist. This is a show where we just talk about trying to be artists, playing the artist as the show goes. My name's
yeah.
Antoine Marchildon, and I'm joined always the very handsome and not he's okay, Alex.
Hi, my name's Alex, and I'm on the show just to interrupt Antoine's long rants from time to time.
Thank you, because they do get long.
Yeah.
How you been, bud?
I've been okay. You know, I feel a lot better. Last time we hung out, I was kind of feeling really. I don't know that I was feeling bad. It was just antisocial. Just feeling antisocial, and since I went back to work, it's been better.
Oh, interesting.
But so anyway, I don't know.
Interesting.
I think it's just because I hold myself up to try to just to like work on art, and when I just turn off my social skills, something in my brain, you know, a switch flips.
Yeah.
And it's like when we hung out, I wasn't done. You know, I wasn't done my goal for the weekend, so my brain wasn't ready to switch back to regular human type mode.
Oh my. Hang on a second.
Hey,
focus.
No. I'm seeing you. This is like how I see the world, man. I'm always squinting at everything. It's like, there we go. Bring it back slowly.
That's interesting. Yeah. I wonder if that's. What's your routine in the morning?
Usually I wake up like on a work day, or because it's different. It's different on the weekends. I'm sleeping in. On a weekday, I'm waking up at around 7:30.
So I heard this thing this dude said. I forget who said it. Some guy. I think a fitness
sounds
guy
legit.
Or something.
Sounds legit.
Yeah, sounds legit. And he was saying that you should always try to start your mornings on doing something that's like kind of important, or like doing something that like takes some effort, and it doesn't have to really be a part of something that you're passionate about. It could be like, I got to clean the toilet, or I got to do exercise, or I have to do laundry.
Some kind of chore.
Some sort of thing where it's like, it will give you kind of like a win right at the start, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you were all bummed out that evening, is because you didn't finish the thing that you wanted to do. So like then the day feels like nothing's been done, right? Because you set out a goal, and it was a big goal. Probably it was probably like, you know, finish a character or finish a tile or whatever.
That's right.
And you didn't finish it, and then you get all dumpy dump on yourself because, like you said, you're trying to hold yourself accountable, right? Mm-hmm. So you're kind of being the master and the slave at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a good point. Yeah, because you do, even though you make progress, you don't get a sense of accomplishing anything.
Yeah,
just because it takes a long time sometimes to do this stuff.
So
whatever
if you try to do something in the morning, and you see it, and it's like a little check mark, boop, you know. So then let's say you do art and nothing really gets done that much, or you didn't get as much as you expected. There's still that little check mark in the back of your brain that's like, oh, I got that done.
Yeah.
You know.
So I know I have this weird thing where, like, if I'm doing something I like, and then I'm done the thing, and then I go to do something else that I also enjoy, like art or something, I'm just gonna like procrastinate hard about it. For whatever reason.
Sorry, say that again.
Procrastinate like crazy. Like I'll just get distracted, or I'll go on YouTube, or I'll just like, I don't know. It's like I find like, okay, I'll do something I'm enjoying. Like I'll go out, you know, with my friends and, you know, watch UFC or something. And when I come back, you know, and it's like, oh, I can just go do art right now. But when I if I don't bookend it with like, if I don't insert some like dishes or going for a run in between or something like that,
Yeah.
then it's like, yeah, I find I just like piss around and just go on, just
Because you're over engaged, dude.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, you need
like,
to like.
After you're hanging out, and like the example you give, like go watch UFC or you go see a movie or you go have dinner
Yeah,
with friends or whatever.
That's right. Yeah.
You're hyper engaged, right? And then to like your body actually needs a recovery, and that's why they always say like go for a walk or do exercise or do a task, do something that doesn't have to really be engageful, just something that will put you in motion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like it's just like a good back and forth balance of like, doing something for me, and then I'm doing something that's that kind of like a character builder. It's like fun character building and just back and forth, and then you're like, I don't know, got some kind of balance in your life. You got something to feel good about, and you can enjoy the good time you're having because you feel like you earned it a little bit. Hey Fabrice, how's it going, man? Good to see you back.
Fabrice is in chat.
Yeah, he is.
Fabrice, that's a great name. That's a sexy name too. That's a great name. I love that name, Fabrice.
Yeah.
It's either he could be the hero of like a Latin American soap opera or the villain like of an American movie, right? They always like some sort of like sexy foreign name for the bad guy,
Yeah, man. In the '90s, the sexy bad guy—that was the thing. Like, sort of like strangely sexy. Like in Die Hard 2, the dude who's like doing naked yoga in the beginning, but he's like a killer, and he's got like this long ponytail.
Yeah,
but he's just like shredded.
It's weird because like if you look at '80s action shows, like it's always like some gross like looking bad guy that's like kind of like either rich old guy or like jacked steroid guy, bad guy. You know what I mean?
Like it was a little too jacked.
And then the '90s came around, and it was kind of like more like there was a sex appeal to the villains, stuff like that.
Yeah, like in Wayne's World, the sort of like just like that slick looking rich guy, but works out regularly and he actually has a balanced life, but he's just kind of a dick.
Sorry, we're totally off topic.
Yeah.
Talk about Fabrice's name. What I was gonna say? I was just on ArtStation, and there's a lot of titties on ArtStation. My God.
More so than like from what you remember from maybe a year ago or.
Yeah, I was just today I was just like checking out some art, and I was just like, because I remember watching One Fantastic Week. I remember Pete was saying like, there's a lot of like cringy like badass art where it's like chicks holding guns or like a samurai or like a space marine kind of type person.
Yeah.
And right away I got offensive. I was like, Pete doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And then I was kind of like looking today and like thinking back of all the other times looking, I was just like, God damn it, there's a lot of boobies and like guns and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's like how many boobies and guns do you need to like for your portfolio? You know what I mean? Well, I guess they must be like some like people must look at that and be like, yeah, that's exactly what we want, because like people wouldn't be making it then, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would think.
Well, I think what Pete and a lot of artists have issue with is that it's like a really direct and like kind of lazy way, I guess, of like just communicating cool and badass. It's just throw spikes and chainsaws and guns and tits at something. It's like you don't really need to tell any story or anything. You just throw it there. It's gonna look like, oh man, it's gonna look cool, and it's gonna look like a heavy metal cover like right away.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they always talk about authenticity, and I think what they should relabel that as just maybe more of being yourself. Like, what do you really want, right? So I used to draw a lot of like, I don't know, I guess you could say almost like tattoo designs. I guess you could say almost like my old work.
Yeah, a lot of demon faces.
Yeah, a lot of like Japanese oni demon faces and like roses and like just creepy stuff, I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just
strangers
stopped.
would get it tattooed on themselves and like
Yeah, people would come up to me and
randomly.
they would say like, "Oh man, are you a tattoo artist?" Or like, "You should do tattoos and stuff." And yeah, I wasn't in love with the idea of my art. I was in love with the idea of strangers accepting me.
Yeah,
We've been through this.
we
So
have. We've been in that dungeon and we've raided all the loot out of it. We
yeah,
came out better for it, maybe.
for sure, for sure, for sure.
But yeah, man. So what were you looking for in ArtStation when you ran into all these spikes and titties and stuff?
I always try to just open it up and just see what's popping, you know?
Yeah,
What's
staying current and what's happening out
just
there.
see what people are doing, or if people are like showcasing like different engines, or like if there's something where they're like, oh, I did this cool sketch by using what and what, and it's just like, oh, that's interesting. So it's just good to always have your ear to the ground and see what people are doing. Even when there's stuff on the marketplace too, when people are selling stuff, is kind of interesting too. Because
like on ArtStation, you mean?
Yeah, ArtStation, because there's
they
the
opened up
marketplace
that just recently, I think, like in the last few months. Have you tagged anything as open for business? I haven't myself. I don't.
What do you mean?
Why. Like, because you have to tag your artwork as printable or whatever. Like, there's for sale.
Oh, on ArtStation? I don't have anything on ArtStation.
You don't?
No. I put
really?
all my stuff is on Thingiverse for downloading and whatnot.
Oh yeah, but like some of your like renders and stuff. I don't like you definitely have.
You
have an ArtStation profile,
prints. Yeah,
you can check
I thought you were talking about 3D printing.
Oh, I see. Yeah. No. I don't think they have that. I doubt it.
Well, you could. Well, no, you can sell the file, right? You can sell the ST file because there's people that sell.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's people that sell like actual models, right? Actually, speaking of selling models, there's a character model I came across, and I've been really thinking about maybe dabbling in character stuff. And I've been thinking about dabbling in a lot of shit. I'm thinking about making a freaking YouTube channel where it's just me making work and printing it and painting it.
Dude, you should, man. I think you should like just shed some light on the process of what it takes to make a model from like start to finish. From scratch to print it. I think that'd be a really awesome video.
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of people would get a lot out of it. I think there's big interest in there of just learning how that process works. What tools people are using and stuff.
There's one gentleman I'm following. What's his name again? Venevix Arts, I think it's called. And that's what he does. He's just started out, and he just has an Endor 3 like me, and he just models some stuff, and then he paints it, and he just talks about his little process. And then he has a Patreon, and then he has like models. Each month he has models he releases on Thingiverse, and then also he has like Patreon model only models that he does as well. So I don't know. It'd be really interesting because I have this old drawing that I did in high school. I still have it with me, and it's like very like big guns and spikes.
Nice. Yeah.
As you know, but it was based off of 40K Space Marine stuff. But I didn't really know the lore. I didn't really know like what the whole thing was about. I just really liked the art. And I remember kind of like making my own version of like a Space Marine thing.
Mm.
I still have it, and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. It's kind of sketchy and very like not very well drawn, but it'd be neat to like make a video of a process where it's like, hey, this is a picture I drew when I was 17. Yeah. I was 17, and now I'm going to model it and print it, and then put it, and then I'm going to paint it, and it's going to be like a finished piece.
That'd be cool to see. It'd be fun to dissect and see like. Because when you're that age, all you know is like what's cool and what you think is cool. There's no like you're not really judging yourself and like your merit and like, is this art? Is what I'm making right now? You're not
No,
thinking about
you're just
that,
having
or
fun.
you don't even have art peers to like critique what you're doing.
No.
You're just, yeah, it's just pure like, this is what's cool, this is badass, this is what I like. So I mean, there might be something genuine there. Maybe
There
it's
is.
shit. I don't know. That'd be sweet though, dude. Yeah.
So that'd be kind of fun to do. But the thing is, I was always interested in YouTube, but I never thought like what would be my angle to get into YouTube. You know what I mean? Because
Well,
because I consume it on a daily
yeah.
basis. I love it. I follow people that are YouTubers, you know, as they
Mhm.
say, and then also it's just like another outlet towards, you know, my my hobby and my career. So
I think it's going to be a good entry into editing as well, which is like an important skill to have if you're on your own out there in the world.
Yeah.
Just like some video skills, I think would be useful.
Did I talk about it on this where I have to do a video now for my Kickstarter?
I don't know if we mentioned it on here. I know we've had lots of chats in person about it. We've like gotten kind of heated about it at times.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, you've warmed up to the idea of making a video, which I think is awesome. Even if it's just you.
It's just gonna be.
No,
it's just gonna be. I'm gonna pay somebody on Fiverr, and it's just gonna be pans of like beauty shots, and then a nice little effect over my logo well, at the starting it's gonna be my logo. I make an effect for the logo for it's like, oh, you know, I still have to. Anyways, my logo, some stills of like some awesome beauty shots, and then the title screen, District 0012, and then have a little graphic thing that happens with the 12, and then and make it like, I don't know, like 50 seconds long, something like that. You know, super short. And then if they're interested, they can scroll down and they can look at, you know, what I'm offering, and also, you know, my stretch goals and what I'm trying to achieve, and blah 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 blah. You know, all that fun stuff.
For a second though, I thought it sounded like you were trying to convert your Fiverr artists to like back your Patreon.
No.
It's like, and if they're interested, they can, you know, back my project.
No, not that.
Yeah. That's cool.
So yeah.
I mean, yeah. If you ever want to like get into After Effects, that's the kind of the one editing software that I know, because it's basically like Photoshop in 3D. So
I'm gonna have to.
A lot of the same
tools if I want to do. It's called again YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm almost done printing. I have like 2 more prints to do. So.
Dope. Yeah.
And painting's coming along too. And yeah. And I still have to paint another miniature. I still have to paint maybe 1 or 2 miniatures. We'll see. I know I have one that's in between a painting, just for the promotional shots, to have, you know, some variety of the miniatures around the terrain.
I had an idea just now. It involves you spending just a little bit of money. Maybe, I don't know how many minis you got. Do you have 2 teams? Like, can you have the red guys fighting the blue? Okay, perfect. Okay, because I've only seen the blue guys. But yeah, and then you can stage.
Yeah, I got my plague marines. I got my Nurgle faction. You know, the little green gross guys.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Nice.
And it's kind of themed towards, like, those characters are kind of themed towards like my stretch goals. You remember I was showing like the lower tier stretch goals are going to be all like these like gross infected things. You know what I mean? And my sample print is you know, it's like that. It's like this silo with like gross spikes and bulbous like bags and gross fleshy stuff.
Okay, cool. Wow,
you've seen it, right?
Yeah, I have. But I'm kind of discovering the lore as we go here.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big Warhammer player. I've never played the game, and yeah, I mean, I would. I like tabletop gaming and stuff, and I've played similar games, but
it's a money sink.
Yeah,
it costs a lot of money,
and it takes a lot of space as well, like to have a table and
Well, that's why they released those like smaller kind of versions, right?
Yeah, a bit more like a board game. That's why I've been thinking about getting into it recently. But
yeah, I kind of want to get into Warcry. I think that shit looks awesome.
yeah, man.
I really like. I don't know. I do like sci-fi and stuff, but man, I think I prefer fantasy. To be honest.
Yeah, we should play it somewhere. Wonder if we could play a sample game at the Games Workshop. Do you think they let you just go in and play with their toys?
Oh yeah. They love that shit because they want to sell stuff, right? So
Okay.
they're worse than like car salesmen, man. You
Yeah.
walk in and they'll like try to sell you like everything, including the roof.
Yeah, there's the one store that's near us at Highgate there. It's pretty cool. Like they'll give you painting tutorials, and then they'll just apply a little bit of pressure for you to buy a figure and paint it. But you can bring your own. They said.
Fair enough.
Jared and I were pretty stoked on this. Learning to paint from because the models in there they always look dope in those stores. Like
it's pretty easy to get some decent stuff. Like you saw my stuff, and I haven't been painting for that long, so
Yeah. I'm like man, characters because I pretty much only do characters. It's like maybe I need more sophisticated brushes, but
dude, that's not
always,
true, man. That's
I'm
not
always
true.
dribbling and painting outside the lines, and then I have to go back and fix a little blob, but I mix that color.
You just gotta follow and listen to people that paint. Like I have two guys that I follow, and they're both miniature painters, and they just talk about techniques. They talk about their process. They talk about these little things, and then you pick up on it, right? And then before you know it, you're applying those techniques, and then you could actually get something decent, right?
Yeah.
So even like if you're, I don't know, it's the same thing applies to like if you're interested in like 3D modeling or you're interested in watercoloring or whatever. Like if it becomes a part of your like media you consume, sooner or later, you're going to pick up habits that are really healthy, and you'll apply those to when you do start doing the thing you wanted to do. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, did you see Diablo 4? It's gonna totally change top 20.
It's so cool. I love it.
It's fucking amazing, dog.
It reminds me right away. I just got all these like feelings of just like being a young man. Just Diablo 2 just ran through my blood. When I saw the video, I was like, oh, they're going back.
Yeah. Diablo 3 didn't have any nostalgia really. It was just like kind of
it was like a World of Warcraft light.
Yeah.
Like the way it was like kind of showed off, you know what I mean?
It felt like a Dota adventure
game to
me.
A Dota adventure game. Yeah, that's a good one.
But no, this is better. This is your like dungeon crawling through like dank. The dankness has been dialed up to 12 in these dungeons, and I just love it, man. It's so inspiring. I just have it playing on loop, like on my second monitor, like nonstop.
I've told this before. Like after I'm done this Kickstarter, I want to do a second Kickstarter, of course. And I want to do a fantasy-based one. I think I'm gonna heavily influence it from Diablo. What I've seen, anyways.
Yeah.
Because it's just so cool and pretty.
Mm. Yeah,
and also like looking at models
over the industry. That aesthetic,
maybe
the dark fantasy kind of stuff. I think is like on an uptick since Dark Souls, and because like for a while everything was like Warcraft, Torchlight, sort of this like kind of goofy cartoony fantasy, like maybe not goofy, but like really like stylized shapes,
Yeah.
Kind of like, just like that Overwatch look, I guess, but in fantasy. And that was like the trend and the standard, and all the mobile games were that for like several years. But Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be the dark fantasy era now.
Maybe because Blizzard is a trendsetter. They do.
Yeah.
Like once Overwatch came out, everybody had their own version of Overwatch. Like Paladins, remember that, which was like a straight
Yeah.
Overwatch rip, and there was a bunch of other games that were like very like tongue in cheek, stylized and stuff. And yeah,
totally. There's so many games where the art style is just like screenshots taken from Overwatch, kind of really just. And not even games, but like when I talk to artists here who've worked in like TV animation, they're like, yeah, the art style of that short we're working on or that series we're working on is like basically, heavily inspired by Overwatch.
Yeah.
So,
it's the kids, man. The kids got the power because they complain to their mom and dad. I want the thing, and then the mom and dad are like, okay.
Yeah. It's just like. I don't know. It's just like the only way to go right now. If
it's
you're making a stylized game, that's the only. That's like if you want it to look good, that means it needs to look more like Overwatch. That's like the scale is how much it looks like Overwatch. That's how good something is, and there's no kind of breaking outside of that. At least from what I've seen for quite a while.
Well, I've noticed this working at EA with you and whatnot is it's a risk when you're trying to breach a new audience or breach a new feeling towards your product, right? And if it's something that's not familiar, people tend not to give it a second chance, right? It's hard for a consumer to be like, look at it and then be like, oh, let's give this a shot, because what happens is they'll look at it and right away they'll start guessing what's next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if something is kind of like popular, like you were saying, like I guess like Overwatch or whatever, they can kind of like guess what's next. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with like these what are they called again? Battle Royale games, right?
Mm-hmm.
You say like, oh, it's a Battle Royale game, and then the audience can then guess what sort of can happen next, but then also have a little bit of mystery. So they're already right there. They're already invested, right? But if you're trying to do a different art style, you're trying to do a different game mode or something like that, and and if it doesn't grab their attention, they're just going to be like, that's not for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have to trick people into, not trick people. You got to get them asking questions and then telling themselves a lie. Because once they tell themselves a lie, then they'll tell that lie out loud and they'll share it with people.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what the answer is, but.
Well, no, I just mean it's really fucking hard to like be like, okay, we're gonna do something new and it's gonna be successful. It's
because you can't just do it. You have to convince other people to, to invest. And not just monetarily invest, but just like in every sense of the word.
Yeah, and then for a big company to do that, to them that's the scariest fucking thing ever.
Oh yeah.
Like,
all they see is risk. There's no this worked before here or there, and so why would I take a chance on something? But, I don't know, man.
I hate to poo-poo EA, but it's Activision's kind of like that too.
They're all like that.
Yeah, Bethesda is turning like that actually. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Here's a fucking question: why do people tell like? I remember when Bethesda games would come out and then it would be all buggy and shit, and people would say, "Oh, but that's expected." It's like, why is that expected from Bethesda? Like,
why do they get a pass and other companies don't get a pass?
Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of whack bugs in that. I feel like EA games have a lot of physics bugs and stuff too, but they get hit a lot harder. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is about Bethesda. But man, Skyrim is full of bugs and whack, just weird decisions, and it's so all over the place. But I think the level of investment in Elder Scrolls is high because you're going in there and you're being yourself and you're kind of making that world your own. You're living in that space and there's a lot of you don't really customize it a ton, but
you kind of tell your own story in a weird way.
Yeah, there is. It's weird. It's a weird balance. I think a lot of right now the thought is if you want to capture player engagement, there needs to be some user generated content. You need all this customizable character stuff, but there's none of that really in Skyrim. You're not really creating much of anything. You're just kind of you're gaining a lot of skills. You're gaining gear and stuff. And I guess in that sense, as you discover gear, you can kind of make yourself. But I mean, there's a lot of races to choose from. But it's really
kind of backtracked on your whole thing.
Really
there.
Kind of terrible looking. Yeah, it's
terrible
true.
looking.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, maybe that's all you need is a character editor. And yeah, I don't know. It's not like Minecraft where you're just building your whole universe for yourself.
That's true.
Anyway.
Graphics don't sell games. Games sell games, right?
Yeah, I'm just kind of. I think I just went there because UGC is a hot buzzword at work right now, and it's just
UGC. What the hell's that?
User generated content. It's
user generated content. Well,
yeah.
For user generated content, when you think about it, 3D printing is the ultimate version of that, because when you give someone a 3D file, if they know some they could just rescale it a certain way. Because I saw people take some of my models and they rescaled it a certain way and it looked way better. I was like, holy fuck, he just stretched the model. It looks way cooler.
Oh,
and and I was just so impressed. I was just like, oh, that's cool. So once people know just a little bit of stuff, or they have a little bit of know-how, or just have a little bit of a creative eye, they can make something. They'll take something that you bring out in the world and they'll make it even something more. And that's really cool. That's why I was always into the modding community. I've never partaked, but I always thought it was really cool when people made stuff for games that they loved, right? And they get it out to people to, play and use, and they give it a life on its own. People to this day still play Gary's mod religiously, as well as Team Fortress. Yeah. Those are super heavily modded games. You know what I mean? You can make crazy maps. I remember when somebody made this one map where it was just a giant, a bunch of stories. It was just a bunch of stacked stories. It was just a giant building. You just ran around trying to capture the points up the building, and you go back and forth running around. And someone made that analogy. They were making an analogy of Overwatch and Team Fortress, and he was essentially said Overwatch is it's one meal. That's it. It's this one fancy gourmet meal, right?
Yeah.
And then Team Fortress is just a big mixed bag of Halloween candy. There's just a bunch of crazy fucking shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of tastes all the same a little bit, but you can still mix and match and take things out and add things in, and it's all over the fucking place. And so there's just variety, right? And so it's hard because these big companies, they want to, Bethesda or EA or Activision, they want to put out a product and then they cut all the edges off of it and they're like, this is it. You know what I mean? And this is what you get. And then when you said they want interactive, what did you say again?
User generated content.
Yeah, the only way to get user generated content, you gotta let the reins go, man. You gotta you gotta step back and just watch people, see what they do.
Be willing to allow the users to create some just batshit awful stuff that would make an art director cringe,
Yeah.
So there's a strange balance there where it's a big company. It's man, I don't want this screenshot to come out of my game where somebody's modeled turn your level into
that's why everybody got viral. That's why everybody got upset when modding for Skyrim was going to be a paid thing, and they were trying to essentially
oh yeah. So who was getting charged for this?
I have no idea what they were trying to do. I don't know if it's a thing still, but they were trying to essentially like control modding, and and everybody got in a big uproar. And it's questionable because like in a way they're taking away the thing that made Bethesda
Good luck.
great.
They'll patch it out as soon as you release it, man. The modding community is like, they're quick. They were quicker to fix the bugs than Bethesda themselves were.
Yeah.
So, they've been using those tools forever.
Not just fixing bugs, but making the fucking stuff look better. Like people making better textures, making better models. Somebody made like a bunch of different like faces to make, because all their faces are always dumpy in those games all the time. Somebody went ahead and like made cool looking faces, like really well done. One person made a Miami version. Like they took all the models and they made other models, and they made a Fallout Miami essentially. Somebody made like a whole world where it's just Fallout Miami.
That's cool.
And you can also drive motorbikes in the game. So it's just like, and that's a beautiful thing. And you would never see that if you literally nail everything down and sand everything perfectly and be like, you got to play it like this, And
you could never build an editor or like a tool set that would allow you like that level of customization in a game. Like you almost need to mod it to like allow people to do that level of customization and change the game in that way. So that's I guess it's right. I guess UGC is a big deal, but with models, you have to paint them. No one else is going to paint it for you, so it's kind of like baked right into that whole process, man.
Totally.
You download it, you paint it, you make it your own.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're creative and you have the right models, you can just like take a model and just like crash it into something else, and then print that out, right?
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot more of that.
Yeah, like Danny has a little video where he took a what is it called? Not a werebear, but an owl bear. What are they called?
Bear,
yeah. He took an owl bear and he like put goggles and a machine gun in its hand.
Yeah.
So
and at a miniature scale, looks like it's designed that way because you don't really see the little intricacies of like where the goggles insert onto the head. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, it looks totally cool when you go in and paint it at like it's like an inch and a half tall or whatever.
Yeah. And well, that's going to be interesting because since so modeling right now, it's pretty much the Wild West. Sorry, 3D printing is pretty much the Wild West. And I learned something really interesting. Not learned, but I remember there's this one video game where it's like a sci-fi spaceship video game, kind of RTS, and you play as like a fleet of spaceships. And in the game, you can 3D print components for your spaceships. However, though, certain major companies that are like that can own the patents of these things that you can 3D print, and if you like fuck with these major companies, they can like stop you from 3D printing stuff. So I think in the future, if 3D printing becomes as big and as like accessible as like a microwave or as a toaster, we're gonna start seeing big companies put like a stranglehold on 3D printing, and that's scary.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Because I think if the industry has to explode a little bit more, like somebody's got to just get bonkers crazy rich before the companies like turn their heads and like, what? Like it literally takes that.
Yeah.
And then they'll step in and throw all their marketing dollars at it, take over, sanitize it.
Well, hopefully, right now, 3D printers are kind of like the first computers. So before Macintosh, because Macintosh. So that's what I learned about the Apple II. You know the Apple II?
No.
So the Apple II. Oh yeah, that's before our time. But the Apple II was like a big success and stuff like that. However, though, people could like hack it and like just fuck with it and like make they like took it and they like could take the like the guts of it.
Out of it.
Take the calculator out. I can actually.
So
But
what are you gonna do with it?
I'm not entirely sure, but they could. They took all like they like essentially like hacked the whole fucking thing, and it got like pretty much useless, and people could just like get it for. I'm not entirely sure. I just knew there was a problem with the Apple II where it was super successful, but people took advantage of it because it was like kind of open source, like it wasn't secured properly.
Okay.
And it wasn't supposed to. And Mr. What's his face?
Jobs.
Fucking turtleneck McGee.
Turtleneck.
I forget his name.
I just said
Jobs. Steve Jobs. Sorry. Anyways, he got really pissy about that, and so that's why Apple now is such like renowned for like just being kind of like one and done. You know, you can't mod it. You can't repair it. It's like if you open that thing up, it's like you look at it and it's just like a solid piece. And you're like, what the fuck am I looking at? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have no options. You're
exactly.
Just like,
it's like if you want to, you can't just be like, you can't just look up a tutorial or go to like your local buddy that knows about computers or your local shop or whatever. You have to either mail in the Mac and be like, fix my Mac, or go to like a place where they're like, I don't know, like a Genius store? No, an Apple store with the Genius people or whatever the fuck they're called.
Those the 22-year-old geniuses that are in there running the Apple store.
And that will happen regardless. But as long as there's still the PC version, you know what I mean? Like the Endor 3s, you know what I mean? Like I can print components for my Endor 3. I can there's different things online I can buy to upgrade it, and it's just kind of like, hey man, just watch a YouTube video and do it yourself. You know what I mean?
It's so funny. Like Apple and their restrictiveness, the tightness is almost like the turtleneck. It's like they've embodied it. Like it's this tight ass turtleneck on the user. It's just like limiting what they can do with the shit they paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so as long as the two still exist, you know what I mean? As long as there's people that are like, I just want something where I don't have to fiddle around with it and it just works.
Yeah.
It's like, that's great. And there's stuff out there where it's like, I want to kind of like mod it like it's like a hot rod. You know what I mean?
Like the Linux, where the Linux users, I can do whatever I want with my Linux. I don't even know what to do, but apparently it's better and way more customizable.
Way more customizable.
But nobody wants to use it because it's like, man, I don't need to be. You got to
be actually smart to use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully there's that'll stay like that, and people won't.
People like a healthy middle ground in the PC realm where you're just like you can mod your PC. There's a lot of upgrades you can do. Windows is kind of a mess because it is so it is so open ended. I mean, I don't know that it's open source, but it's like there's a lot you can do on a Windows machine that you can't do on a PC machine.
Yeah.
And anyway, let's move on. Let's move on from that.
Let's move on. 3D printing. Let's move on.
Yeah. Have you been? Did you do any? Was there something you wanted to talk about this show? I forget. I feel like there's maybe something. 7:44. I did have a Patreon I wanted to highlight.
You wanted to highlight a Patreon?
Yeah. I wanted to chit chat about it, get your thoughts on it, because I think it's pretty cool. It's in the map space, creating maps, the only thing that sucks. So I guess I'll just share it. Share screen. Can you see it?
I see it.
It's hard to read the text, but it's called Dynamic Dungeons.
Yeah,
and
should change that. He or she should change that.
Yes. Or Z or Zer.
Stop that.
All right. I'm sorry. Let me just move on. So one thing when I was on my phone, I could see way more posts I felt. Everything is locked up because I'm not a backer. But they
oh my God. That person's making $1 million. Not $1 million, but
they're doing all right.
They're doing very well for themselves.
They're in like the Duncan Shadow territory.
They sure are.
Do you remember we were kind of talking about doing this sort of thing? What that might look like? You know, an animated
Oh, yeah.
battle map. Because
Yeah.
you know,
That's it right there.
yeah, they're actually doing it. And I mean, there's a few people who are doing it, but these are the only people who are like killing it doing it. You know, I don't know how much money there is here, but man, it'd be fun as heck to do this, to make this kind of stuff. You know, like what if this looked like Diablo 4
Oh my
instead
God.
of like Daz 3D? You know, I think
I'm wondering, they're probably running this off of, what's it called again? Unity, hey?
they might. I mean, they might be building it in Unity, but they deliver just videos. They deliver movie files that you just play, which I think is dead simple and pretty cool and stuff. I don't know if there's sound effects on the videos. I like this level a lot, actually. I think this.
Yeah, that looks amazing.
This cave stuff here is their strongest work. Yeah, this is crazy. This is nice. I like this a lot. I think there's room to go further, but you know, shit, this would be really fun to have on your TV and yeah, be.
I'm wondering.
Yeah.
How does someone, if they have that on their TV on their game, you know,
All the shit
game,
I watch.
yeah, UFC, bunch of dude bro shit.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? I'm just wondering, like, how do they move to the next video? I guess they just have them like queued up. The guy just has it queued up, and he's just like, then he opens that one, and he opens that one. I guess. Just thinking about.
I was. Oh, is this a video as well? Yeah, I was thinking like maybe you just have like a folder of videos and you're just VLCing it through. I don't know, but like I don't see why you couldn't like have a sequence of like rooms. It's just like one, you know, like maybe you got 10 rooms and you have video 1 through 10, and then you just next video as you go to the next room kind of thing. But I think I don't know what the order of this is, but some of these maps are like way better than others. I love these shadows. It's so cool. Yeah, I don't know. Shit.
He also had a nighttime version as well, which was pretty neat.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Yeah, doing a nighttime version. Here's where I was. This is where you actually see kind of the stuff they're doing. So.
Yeah, there you go. Right on.
Anyway.
They're beautiful. To get that up and running and started would take a hefty amount of time and you know, not resources, but you know what I mean, like to get that up and going. But once you get the ball rolling, like then you're just like you can just start pumping out a bunch of different stuff. You know what I mean? Like once you have all the assets and all the materials.
True. Yeah, the more you make, the more you'll have in your library of tools.
Yeah.
Sounds like Fabrice has some experience with these maps. I'm gonna ask him to see what he's got. Yeah, so I don't know. That's something that I think about is like something I'd like to do. But you're right. You have to make so much content. You kind of got to be. I think you got to be the map guy, and you got to spend your whole, you know, entire focus on creating these maps because it's so much. It's a lot of work, you know.
Yeah. Well, it depends though, right? Like, let's say you make it as a Kickstarter, and you know, then you go ahead and if it's really successful, then maybe you run it on your Patreon, or maybe you do another Kickstarter or something like that. Like, who knows? But
I'm starting to think like. Because anytime I think about a project I want to do, I'm like, okay, how would this fit into a Kickstarter, right? Or sorry, how would this fit into a Patreon? Where, like, a Patreon is usually like, oh, map guy. Every month you get a new map thing, new tile or whatever it is, or you're the character, like sort of monster guy. You get a few monsters every month, but you really have to like lock down into that theme of what you're offering. You know, you got to be that guy, right? Because it's going to be month after month after month, and that's what people are there for. Like, they don't want you to just, if you're on the monster Patreon, they don't want you to pepper in like some, you know, maybe like a magic ability card thing. Like, maybe that's not what they're there for, right? They're maybe following somebody else for that, or they're just not interested in it at all. So it's like,
but also like you're going to be spreading yourself so fucking thin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. It's yeah, yeah. People don't want to. It just doesn't make sense to offer one thing 1 month and then something different the next. So, which sucks because I like doing all that stuff at different times. So maybe Kickstarter
Well,
is more.
yeah, like I said, like when I do my Patreon, I think I'm gonna focus. No, sorry, I'm not gonna. I'm not thinking. I'm gonna definitely probably focus on more fantasy based stuff. You know, because I feel like I could. There's just so much more like theming and so much more you can do, right? Like you could do Aztecian kind of Mayan stuff, or you can do Egyptian stuff, or you can do a swamp, or you can do like Asian architecture, you know, very like maybe like
Yeah.
Qing dynasty stuff. You can do, you know, European medieval stuff. You can do all sorts of stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's some space in the sci-fi world to like expand a little bit in that way, and I don't know, maybe you could go like retro future or something like that. But I don't know. Yeah, like what if who's to say in 2 projects from now you're not like reminiscent about the Warhammer 40K stuff, and you're like,
And I'll do a Kickstarter then. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then it's just like I'll do some Patreon stuff, and then.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, do a little bit of the Kickstarter stuff and then just like slowly build up towards it, right? So that's always an option, right? Or because like I want to do other things too besides just 3D modeling, 3D models for 3D printing. Like I said, I want to do. Like I still have ambitions to do an actual video game or like a card game or a board game. You know.
Oh yeah, you had a card game idea that you were telling me about.
Yeah. It's just ideas. I'm just putting them down to see what happens, right? It might not turn into anything, but it's just good to write it down and just because, right? Because then if the time comes where it's like, oh, I have an opportunity to do this thing, I can go back to my notes and be like, okay, what's the stuff I read about this stuff? So you're kind of like not starting at square one. Mm. You know, you kind of have a little bit of backlog of information that you jotted down and stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I definitely have in my little girly.
Have you been writing down stuff?
Yeah, like, well, I mean, I always do. It's not like I've been doing my homework and writing stuff down. It's just like because I've been focusing on just making that tower and kind of rendering it out and optimizing it for printing and stuff. But I haven't done a ton of like writing down stuff. Like, I don't know. I put a lot of hours into that goddamn tower. It takes like twice as long as I thought it would.
It looks good.
But, yeah, no, I have an idea for a board game. It's kind of like, have you ever played Dice Throne?
I think you talked about it.
Dude, I'm so obsessed with that game. It's so good. And it's really, we got to play it. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess if you're not familiar with the Dice Throne mechanics, then I won't get into it. But yeah, I think someday I'd like to make a game that's sort of a mix between Dice Throne and Ticket to Ride, because I think Ticket to Ride is like the most perfectly paced board game ever. It's like each turn is like so quick. You can play. It's really only a 4-player game, but you could play if there were an option to play 6 players. You know, you wouldn't be waiting 10 years for your next turn like you are in most games. Even if you want to expand in that way. So, yeah, and then Dice Throne is just like I think the most fun board game I've ever played. Like the most, I don't know, engaging. Just like because usually I play a board game and then I'm like that was fun and I put it down on the shelf and I'm like I'm good for like. A month or so. I don't need to play this again. But like with Dice Throne, it's like, you want to go again? You want to play again right now? It's like 1 a.m. and you're like, I wouldn't mind playing just one more. It's always like that. Every time I put it down, it's like I'm always cutting myself short. Like I'm always like wanting more. And
I'm gonna have to try that out with you,
dude. I played it for like 6 hours straight.
Oh my god, that's too much for a board game,
dude. Well, I mean, it's not one game. No, there's. No, I don't actually. Yeah.
Keepers.
But yeah. Anyway, we should play the game, and then I'll show you how I'm would like to rip it off someday.
For sure.
Uh,
Damn, dude. So what are you gonna try to get done this week, anyways?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm still figuring out. Well, for sure. So I've printed my tower, and it printed out okay, but it had more supports than I was expecting, and some of the things that I thought I thickened up enough to not be too thin were still too thin. So I need to go in and like some of the pillars on there are too thin, and I need to clean those up. So I'm going to be working on that a little bit this week. I'm following up on my maps. I reached out to the company that, remember, you were making fun of me. I was going to print some and give some to my mom and let her get after that in her little business. But man, I realized that shipping 50 pounds of rubber in the form of like these little maps is not cheap. Like when I was about to place the order, and I realized the shipping is like basically the cost of the entire order, like again,
Damn,
so
dude.
I was like, I had like 36 of them in my bin, and it was coming up to be like 300 and roughly $350, which is like $10 per mat, right? And then shipping was like another $350. So I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's $600.
I'm like, okay, I really need to rethink, because like I've been kind of shopping through companies and okay, just trying to dip my toes in this physical realm and figure it out without a lot of pressure on my back. Like I have no deadlines, there's no demand, there's no I don't need. I'm not selling it to in a serious way. I want to go through the process of doing this once, even if it's a small order of 30.
Yeah.
And
so if you do this, that means you're gonna have to put that expense in there too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then you gotta tell people like, hey, you gotta pay for shipping.
Yeah, and it's because not only you got to ship it to you or something like that, and then you got to ship it to somebody else again. Yeah. So it's like that's not cheap. No. It's not like Amazon. Nothing. It's not just Prime for free wherever. 2 days.
Well, Amazon gets away with it because they treat their employees like garbage.
Yeah, man. I guess so. And I've totally reaped the benefits and taken it for granted now that I have to actually pay for my own shipping for something.
Yeah. Well, you know what, man? Is it possible to find a supplier here in British Columbia?
That's the next step. Like I said, I was squabbling over it's a few dollars cheaper per print if I use this company, but a few dollars per print is nothing compared to like the entire price one more time. And so if there is somewhere on in the lower mainland that that is doing that, it might be worthwhile to just drive over and pick them up and then not have to pay any shipping if that's realistic. The one company
would you drive down all the way down to the States to go pick that up?
Well, I mean, I would, but the issue there is you gotta come back from the States.
Oh, yeah, you gotta pay duty, right, or something.
There's probably all kinds of, I don't even know, and I don't want to try to lie about it like I'm smuggling in something.
Smuggling in mats.
In that situation, what do you got in the trunk? Oh, just some maps. Maps. My voice cracks in the middle of it. That's exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
And then I'd be the one guy who went to jail for fucking tiger maps. Be detained at the border. But yeah, the one company in Canada that I did do that, I did a test print with. It just looks so terrible. Yeah. It's just such a poor job, especially compared to the really good job that.
Just keep looking, man.
So yeah, I'm gonna keep looking. we'll see if I can figure this out. But this is the kind of thing, right? Like, imagine you did a Kickstarter campaign and you're like, oh, I'll offer some map prints on there to like some physical tier, and then you're like, oh yeah, I did it, and now I got to get these to people. And you're like, you realize, oh, it's twice as expensive as I thought it might be, just from looking on like the price calculator on the internet there, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's good that you found that out now. So.
Yeah, it makes me want to just only do digital rewards and just call it a day.
What
like you're doing, which is a great idea. It's a great tiptoe into the Kickstartering.
Yeah, well, like I said, like I'd like to maybe even one day offer physical stuff. Who knows? I want to get it. I want to
do a card game or whatever. Like,
yeah, I want to dabble in. I would like to even dabble in into physical, like do actual casts of miniatures. You know, who knows?
Yeah, man. That would be cool. It's a totally different optimization process, but like, yeah. Anyway, I think we've maybe talked about it before, but I don't know.
Yeah, dude. One step at a time.
Yeah. Well, maybe your stuff would work really well actually, because I don't know. Fuck off. I'm running out of steam here, buddy.
Yeah, dude. Me too. I should be getting my my laptop today, hopefully.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll see.
That'll be fun. Get that going. See how things go in ZBrush, and see how speedy it is and stuff. Do you have a little tablet?
Yeah, of course. Well, not a little one; it's a medium one.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, medium's fine. Anyways, I guess we'll start shutting down. How do you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's start putting her to bed.
Okay. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Playing the Artist.
Thanks to Bruce for joining us.
Thanks for Bruce for joining us. If you want to help us out or support us, you can subscribe and hit the little bell icon wherever it is. And you'll be notified when we go live on
7 a.m. It'll wake you up on your phone.
On Tuesday.
When you're trying to sleep. Oh,
yeah, like.
No, it's just those two clowns. I'll watch it at noon when I wake up.
Yeah. What's I was gonna say? Yeah. So yeah, every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, you can find us chit-chattering about just trying to figure out this damn thing, trying to be an artist. Anyways, plugs. Alex, where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm still only on Tiger Skull RPG, all one word, at Instagram and on Facebook. Just type those in. A goal of mine is to like expand that and get on like DeviantArt and maybe make an ArtStation page for it and all that jazz. Get on more apps, but for now, that's it. Oh, and there's Alex Cola, one word, on Thingiverse as well. So, how about yourself?
Okay. Well, you can find me on the Instagram at Forbidden Prince. That's Forbidden_Prince. And then on Thingiverse, it's just Forbidden Prince, one word, and Forbidden Prince on the tweets. You can tweet me something. That's okay. Yeah. Oh, and you can also check out my work on ArtStation, which is just my name right here. Just type that in ArtStation, and you can find my work. Don't worry, there's no spikes or boobies or guns. Actually, no, that's true. There is guns.
There we go.
Yeah, and that's about it. And thanks for watching this. Whoever watches this.
Yeah, or even just listening if you don't watch. That's cool too.
For sure. Anyways, I'm gonna have everything printed and painted for next week. And I'm also going to try to get Gavin to come over and take some test prints. Sorry, some test photos.
Yeah.
Or beauty photos or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. I'll see you around. Big kiss.
Okay.
Mwah.
Ciao.
Ciao. Meow.